7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Nearly there. Almost time. Get ready. Hello, good evening and welcome. It's Wednesday, it's 7 o'clock and it's time to meet another business hero this week. My name's Richard Wraith and this is the Business Heroes Show. Today, believe it or not, we are talking about how you as a business owner can have more energy and focus without having to exercise. That's my favourite part, the no exercise clause, the get out of jail free card. And who better to talk about having more energy and focus without having to exercise, I don't say that meanly, than the founder of the Gut Intuition. So please give it up for Shim Ravalia.
Hello.
Welcome, Shim. Yay.
Hello, Rich. Woo! Nice
Everyone give her a round of applause.
Brilliant.
Shim, hi. How are you doing, Shim?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, excellent, excellent. I love that introduction music, don't you?
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
It's very sort of get up and dance around the room and then run back to the microphone.
I was literally doing that, dancing in the background.
Indeed it is. Everyone's run around the room quickly and do a little dance. See, that's why you don't need to exercise. You just tune into the show. You get your
exactly.
two minute high impact workout and then you sit down and learn something.
Job done.
So tonight we're talking about, and this is what got my attention, is the no exercise clause. So tonight we're talking, actually, why don't I shut the hell up and let Shim tell you what we're talking about tonight. What are we talking about tonight, Shim?
Well, we're talking about exercise, but more importantly is the biggest concerns that business owners actually have is like, I just wish I had more energy to get more done. I wish I had more energy to just have more time for myself. And you know, this is going back to way back when I was starting in the business journey almost 7 years ago, is where like I wanted more focus. I wanted longer focus so I could do.
But she's only 20. How does she? 7 years ago, you would have still been at school.
I'm 34, ladies and gents. But you know, I wanted more energy. I wanted more focus. The thing is, it's like we put ourselves into this high expectations of ourselves where we're like, oh, but I haven't exercised, or I've barely eaten today, or, you know, we go into this rabbit hole of feeling guilty and we almost label ourselves lazy. We're just lazy, or I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have done that.
Hey, you speak for yourself, girl.
But, you know,
I am lazy. I don't label it.
I'm talking from my own experience and from business owners that I actually coach and mentor when it comes to health and business. And these are some of the worries at the forefront of their mind is just like, well, I haven't really done a lot, like I haven't exercised, I know I should, and I know I should be doing this, and we end up putting a lot of pressure on ourselves. So without having to exercise bit, Rich, don't get too comfortable knowing that you can't ever do exercise.
Oh no, you're kidding, right? You mean I've got to get up and do something at some time?
But there are what I wanted to.
I was just getting a liker as well.
What I was exploring today. What I wanted to explore today was that there are other ways that you can get more energy and focus in your business, in your day even, without worrying about that you have to fit in an exercise session that equals more energy, if that makes sense. That it will tire you up so much, you're going to get a good night's sleep. Do you see what I mean? So there were some do's and don'ts that I thought the viewers would absolutely find beneficial and just absolutely easy to implement right now.
She's made a training program just for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Zenat joins us, the wonderful Zenat. I like Zenat. She's lovely. This evening, I'm always up and dancing early. No, you meant to wait until the show starts and then dance to that 2-minute segment. That's the bit you meant to dance to. But she says, never judge and assume how experienced someone is by the way they look. Yeah, I know. I'm very guilty of that. But yeah. It's more a compliment than a judgment, I'd say.
Oh, absolutely.
Wouldn't you say so, Shim?
Yeah, absolutely.
You probably get that a lot, right? You get asked for ID in shops and stuff like that.
Yeah, I always get ID'd for non-alcoholic beverages to alcoholic beverages. You can't buy a can of Pepsi unless you're over 21. Yeah, exactly. Which is, a lot of people ask me, well, how do you stay so young? And I'm like, there's not a real straight answer for that. Okay, my parents have got good genes, so there's that. But genes have very little to do with, how your body chemistry is today. A lot of it is to do with your lifestyle. It's a lot of it of how you look after yourself and your mindset and the physical way of life, really.
Yeah.
So
look at Asia, for example. People there live till like 110.
Yeah.
You don't see any fat people running around, do you? Well, it doesn't matter where you go in the world, you never see fat people running around. That's why they're fat.
Fat's nothing to, a lot about weight. We could go off on a tangent here, but
we've got to make the show funny and interesting as well, right?
Exactly. Like, fat doesn't necessarily mean that they're fat because they haven't exercised. A lot of people do carry excess weight because of the guiltiness, because of the laziness, because of the limiting beliefs that they carry every single day. So
I know.
So I always say to people, like, if you're worried about weight, if you're worried about energy, if you're worried about focus, it's never the thing that you're worrying about. The thing is never the thing. That's the biggest message I can always say is the thing is never the thing. It's usually something else. And
plus some people have conditions as well,
Yeah, exactly.
I know when I busted my spine, I literally put on like 20 kilos in the space of 12 months.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Physically couldn't move around.
Exactly. So your body just tends to slow down, right?
Yeah. And
so
you forget to stop eating the stuff you normally eat.
Yeah.
So Zenat's having a go at us now. We're getting told off.
Are we?
I know. I think I am. Is it what you consume? Yeah. It is a part and parcel of what you consume and how you live your life around it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I've seen large people who are actually fitter than me. Yeah, I know. My walking buddy, he's twice my size. And when he tells me that he goes running and all that, I was like, I can't do any of that. He's got to be kidding. And he's a lot bigger than I am. So the lesson there is don't upset him because he'll catch me.
Then you're in real trouble.
I know, right? So if you're watching this, Tony, don't worry. I'll always try and stay in your good books. So, the question of the day, if you had more energy, what on earth would you do with it?
Yeah, so what would you do with it, Rich, if you had more energy? Because everybody wants more energy, right?
I'll probably use it sleeping more.
Fair enough, yeah.
No, I shouldn't say that. I sleep a lot. Anyone who knows me knows that my clock cycle, if you like, is much further around the clock than most people's.
Right, okay.
So I don't... most people's reply to my emails is normally like, do you ever sleep? Nope. Someone's got to keep an eye out when everyone else is sleeping. No, I don't know what I'd do with it. I think if I had a healthy spine again, I'd
Yeah.
be back out there on my bike, and I'd be riding around like a nutcase.
Yeah, sort of getting the
but,
exercise in or getting a bit of
yeah.
fresh air in, a totally different environment, right? So
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
crikey, this is a bit much. Zeenat said she'd climb Mount Kilimanjaro. How much energy would you
Zeenat,
want? Good
I've
Lord.
I've always wanted to climb Kili actually, and it's actually on my to-do list, my bucket list, so to speak, to actually climb that mammoth of a mountain. I just think it's such an achievement if I ever do.
Well, that answers the question I was going to ask you then, Shim.
What's that?
If you had more energy, what would you do with it?
I'd be doing things that are on my bucket list. That's what I would be doing.
I
I'd
should
be
say, if I didn't have
travelling the
people
world.
asking me about getting more energy, I'd be off climbing that bloody mountain.
I'll be climbing mountains. There's I'd love to cycle London to Paris, even the Tour de France. I mean, I did one of the routes a couple of years ago, I think last year, with my team, and which was really, really exciting.
Awesome.
And just
I'm
lots
jealous
of,
now.
Yeah, if I had more energy, I'd be creating more music and
Oh, really?
playing guitar on the stage. Yeah, I love it.
Are you a songwriter or a singer, or what's your?
I'm a guitarist. I've got my electric
Oh, wow.
right behind me.
Are
It's
we
what I
gonna
was
get a bit of
doing
a show
before the
tonight
show.
Are you going to
It's
play
what
for
I
us
do.
as well?
And, we'll see. We'll see.
That was a yes, right? You heard that. She
So
said yes,
there's-
definitely.
There's so many different things. Like, it's funny when you say, if I had more energy, what would you do with it? A lot of the answers I get, and even my own answers, have got absolutely nothing to do with my business. These are all personal things that I want to do, but we're so hell bent
Yeah,
on
me too.
spending all our time in our business, but we can't seem to think or see outside of it. And you're like, I'm now sort of in a bottleneck. So it's
Totally.
really, really important for business owners, especially right now, is to sort of go,
You've triggered her now. Look, she wants you to play.
Play some.
We're taking donations, folks. The hat is on the floor.
For NHS workers, I'll raise some money today.
Yeah, we're collecting for people who are very tired.
Yes.
Very tired.
Yeah. So
Yogesh says, I'll spend more time networking.
awesome, Yogesh.
Boo hoo. Go and do something fun.
Nice one, Yogesh. Well, it's
Yeah.
what if he's
Welcome,
important.
Yogesh. Good to have you. That was a Facebook comment there. So we can't actually reply to Facebook comments directly from here. That's the only problem. We can reply to YouTube comments, but not Facebook ones. So we're not ignoring you, Yogesh. It's just if we type something, you're never going to see it. So moving on, it is a fun subject. I'm sure we could have a whole show on just that one question. If you had more energy, what would you do with it? It's like the question: if you won the lottery, what would you do with it now? So, in order to kick things off, then, and really dive into what Shim does, it feels odd calling her Shim because it's it's an unusual name and it's a nice name, but it's just I've never ever heard that word before. A shim is normally something you use in a toolbox to. It's normally a definition of a very thin piece of metal.
Or it's one of the cycling parts, which is Shimano. So,
Yeah, indeed.
Which I get a lot of the time.
Indeed, you're going to make me jealous now by talking about cycling a lot, aren't you?
Sorry,
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah. We may never speak again after this.
Fine by me, bitch. Fine by me.
Harsh. There you go. There's no romance there, is there? No bromance.
I like that.
I know, right?
Pretty cool.
So, to get on with what we're actually here for, and all this lovely energy that we wish we had, how would we even start about getting more energy in the first place?
So, one of the things I feel is really, really important for business owners, doesn't matter whether you're a startup or you've been in business for 2, 3, 10, 20 years, is the ability to say no. Because when we say yes to everything in the business, we end up bottlenecking our time, and we end up spending all the energy and focus on different things that are not any use to us or is not even in our skill set. So the ability to say no can often give us back that time that we can have for ourselves or do the things that we want to do, but also it keeps us more in lane with what essentially what we want to do in our business. So the ability
Would you say
to
knowing
say
your
no,
limits would be
knowing your limits, it's really knowing your boundaries.
yeah.
Because I remember, 7 years ago, I said yes to everything. I said yes to
I think we've all been there, haven't we?
Yeah, I've said yes to teamwork, I've said yes to event work, I've said yes to working abroad. Literally, I was doing everything and then a 7-day clinic and managing a team at the same time. So we end up wearing all these lovely hats in the business, which is exciting, it's great, but there is a sacrifice at the end of that. And that's, no weekends, nobody likes to, not have fun in business. Like, I started getting to a point where, I was missing out on events, like family stuff, missing out on going on holidays because I'm like, no, I've got a business to run and I've got all these other.
When you come home from work and your family call the police saying there's a burglar in the house, I'm like, who the hell are you?
Well, the thing is, my parents used to always say that you used to come home at 10, 11 after a long day at the clinic, and we'd only see like 5 to 10% of you the whole day.
Or just your foot as you disappear up the stairs.
Yeah, I'll be like, I really don't want to talk to anyone. I literally had no energy because I'd given all of it over to clients, to colleagues, to meetings, whatever it was. And I'm like, I'm exhausted. I don't have the energy or the brain capacity to hold a conversation right now. I just want to have a bit of dinner and then go to bed.
Hey, you just described me every day. I'm going to brain power to hold a conversation.
Not just you, but many business owners out there. And to carry on like that, you end up reaching burnout, and it's not exciting. It's not sexy to do that. And it's just, it's. The thing is, you're a business owner. Once upon a time, you had an idea and you created it into a business, but don't allow it to slow down because you're slowing down. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's really, really important to look after yourselves. It's really,
don't let that snowball get so big that it stops rolling.
It stops rolling eventually, and you're like, okay, what am I doing now? I am now forced to take time out and get back to myself. So it's really important that we have boundaries when we say no, and even the yeses and stuff. So
keeps you out of rehab as well, doesn't it?
Sorry?
Keeps you out of rehab as well.
Out of rehab as well.
Yeah. So when you came out of rehab, how was it?
It was good. It was good. No one knew me anymore. So.
Look, it's the yes girl. She's a yes to everything.
Hello, yes.
I know.
No, that was a joke. I've never been in rehab.
I know. Yeah. Not yet.
No. And I think saying no comes on nicely to delegation, because you've got to be able to delegate in your business so that you can concentrate on the things that you love to do. It becomes a lot more fun when you do that in your business. But if you're doing everything and you're going to be spending more time just controlling and micromanaging things, you ain't going to get anywhere. You have to make sure that you say no and delegate certain tasks, certain roles in your business in order for your business to function, which means that you can actually take that step back whenever you need to. Not because you have to.
Yeah,
Makes
exactly.
like there's two different scenarios. So I think that's quite nice. And obviously with the boundaries on digital time, which affect, when we spend a lot of time on laptops and phones and things like that, that ruins your sleep. Zenat knows, because I've done a talk recently with FSB.
Oh yeah, she was telling me about it. Yeah.
And I spoke in depth about sleep, and if we're
teaching all the
spending
FSBers about how to get not off to sleep.
Yeah, like if we're spending a lot of time on our phones, mindlessly scrolling up and down on Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is, because we're bored or we need some sort of distraction because we don't like ourselves, we don't like our own company, like that kind of thing. Like, this affects us, this affects how we recover, and that's the whole point of sleep. Sleep is like the best thing ever for you to get more energy in the day.
It's so good.
It is amazing. And I love the little cat naps that I can get.
So if a lot of people don't turn up to the next FSB meeting, you're to blame because they're all still in bloody bed.
Well, the ones that didn't, ones that said that they would, they apologised to me and said, sorry, I couldn't make it because I slept in. But
lazy buggers.
That's fine. As long as you got a good night's rest, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah. We already took your advice before your webinar even started, and we just stayed in bed.
100% amazing.
Happy days.
Happy days.
Yeah, you know when your webinar's been a success when no one turned up because they're all asleep, right?
Yeah, and I'm just talking to myself, but luckily I like
fabulous
me,
result.
So
it's a win. No one turned up because they're all still in bed.
And I think the two other points that I want to make about getting more energy in your day is managing emails is one of them.
Sore point for many.
really sore point for many people. And I think the best way to really manage emails is have certain points in the day where you can switch into your email account and have a power hour. Okay, it's what I do. Is right about 11 o'clock in the morning, I'll just have a quick power hour and go, okay, what emails have come through, list them as priority, and just go, I don't really need to reply that to that one right now, or that one's really high importance, I need to email that person straight away back today. Or it just, you can just filter it out. And these kind of stuff, if you've been in a habit of looking at your emails all day long, it's going to take some time to get into good habits, right? So it's really about just starting. It's really about just taking action. And, action kills procrastination all day long. And happy days. So, yeah.
I read something recently on email, which was actually, I was tempted to do the same myself after reading it. And it was a piece of advice where this woman who obviously works in a corporate environment and gets sent an awful lot of garbage that she just doesn't have the time to deal with.
Right.
And her advice was, put in all of your emails, don't send me a novel because I won't read it.
Yeah.
Just put that one line in all of your emails. Don't send me a novel because I'm not going to read it. And it encourages people to cut down to what do you actually need and is it needed right now?
Yeah.
And she says she tells all of her team, put in the subject line of the email what it's actually about and tell me whether I can deal with it later or does it need a decision from me right now? And that's it. But stop sending me novels because I ain't reading them.
Yeah, exactly.
And she said it cuts down, literally cut down half of her emails.
Isn't that amazing? It's amazing in business because it's like when you get straight to the point of what needs to be done, there's less need for distraction. And when we get distracted, we lose 15 minutes. Okay, we lose
only 15.
Only. Now accumulate how many times you get distracted in a day, times that by 15, and that's a lot of minutes. That's a lot of time.
If you get distracted every 14 minutes, you're screwed, right?
Yes, pretty much.
It's your whole day gone.
But that's 15. It takes 15 minutes to get back on track, right? But that's if you do. Because we get another distraction on top of the first one, then another one, and then another one. Before you know it, you end up feeling by the end of the day, you feel like, oh my God, I don't feel like I've achieved anything today. I feel absolutely defeated that the fact that I had a whole long list of things I needed to get done and I didn't do it because of all these distractions. So managing emails is a great one, particularly in terms of just making sure that whatever you need to do in your business that day is clear, it's concise, and it's direct. So that's a really powerful one that's helped me a lot.
Yeah. And I know I get told off for this sometimes, mostly by my wife when she hears the way I talk to people on the phone. Because I just want them to get to the point. It's like I don't want to hear the whole life story of how you accidentally deleted an email. Just tell me what it was you deleted and when you deleted it.
Yeah.
People ring up and say, "Oh, Rich, I've wiped out my website. Can you get one of the guys to fix it?" And you're like, okay, cool. And then they'll go into the whole, well, I was just making something in the kitchen and the wife bought this. I don't want to hear all that. just don't tell me. I'm not listening.
Just get.
And I have to keep sort of like, okay, but, and then eventually, and I've had a few times where I've had to say to a customer, stop talking for a second and listen to my question.
Yeah.
You just literally have to cut them off and say, right, okay, what do you actually need? And just jump on what they need.
In a way, that's good because you're protective of your time and you don't want it to overgo and go overboard and anything like that. But there's been times where, obviously, in my profession in the health and fitness, people do talk about their problems. They do kind of bear all, and it's been difficult with me, especially in my clinical days, where it's like, okay, we haven't even got to testing your muscles yet, and I know everything about your life, and with love and respect, like you're there for them, you're going to listen to them actively, and you're going to help them, but there has to be a point where you've got to say no, you've got to have boundaries and so on. And I've learned a lot through my own mistakes of going, okay, so you've got this, great, okay, can you get on the couch now and let's do this? Or if I'm on a call with the gut intuition business, right, what are your goals, what's going on, where do you want to be, what's, you know, etc., etc. So for me, I've learned over the years to be really direct with your questions and make sure that your intentions are there as to, by the end of this call, I want to have all of these questions answered, period. I don't want to know anything about anything else. And that's kind of like how you...
It's important as well that people don't take it as rude.
Yeah.
You know,
But it's how you come across, yeah.
Professionals in situations like mine and Shim's, we just want to help you. What we don't want is to have an hour's backstory that then makes us forget exactly why the hell you spoke to us in the first place.
Yeah. Thank God for Zoom and the record button.
Yeah. It's confusing. If someone tells you the entire backstory, you're like, okay, and why did you call again?
Yeah. Can we do it again, please?
Yeah, and it causes more problems than you started with.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my, you know, I just wanted to throw that in there as you raised that thing about email.
Yeah.
But what I'll do is when we get your blog post up on the website, I'll add that link to that article in there as well. It's fascinating. And it does, obviously, and this is where, obviously, if I ever get my backside onto the people skills course, I can learn how to do this without being so brutal. Because my approach is always like, would you stop talking already and just tell me what you want? And that doesn't always come across very well.
Luckily, this is over laptops. Imagine if you saw them face to face. I think.
Well, I have a few times to people's face had to say, okay, what do you actually want? Just shut up and tell me what you want. And yeah. I'm not the kid gloves kind of person, you know. And a lot of our customers have come to know that actually they quite like that. But yeah, and I know Zenat knows. She'll teach me how to be a nice person one day. How to be horrible in a way that makes people thank you for it. As my old boss used to say.
Now there's a podcast title right there.
I know. Well, I used to work with this guy on the help desk at National Car Parks, right? And our boss used to say, and I'd say to him, "Why do you keep this guy here? He doesn't know what he's doing. Everything he talks about, he hasn't got a clue. He's probably creating more problems than he's fixing." And he used to say to him, he said, "Yeah, but he could tell people to F off in a way that would make them thank him for it." And I'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah." He was that nice to people that he could literally tell them to go shaft themselves, and they would say thank you, and that was it. And he'd be like, you know, he could get you out of any problems at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, the company's lost 10 million, but okay, don't worry about it. Thank you very much.
Minor details.
Yeah. What you've screwed up? Oh, thank you very much.
See you later.
So you know, it would be nice to be that guy. He was probably a record world-winning salesman. He could probably sell anything. But so where the hell were we? You see, this is the fun thing about doing this show. One thing leads to another.
I think I've answered how you go about getting more energy. So I've talked about
Indeed.
You know, the ability to say no, have boundaries, limit your digital time, delegate, and obviously managing your emails as well. So
yeah. So is this where I say no, Shim, stop talking. No.
Do it.
Point 2. So from there, we naturally move on to, okay, so once you get more, other ways, sort of a reverse form of getting more energy is by avoiding things that drain you, right?
Yeah.
So what sort of...
First thing is all about, we touched on this subject just earlier, is all about sleep. Okay, like a lot of us, some of our habits around sleep hasn't changed since before lockdown, and then since lockdown happened, it's obviously gone from bad to worse, where, you know, few people are sort of staying up late till 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, away on Netflix. It's very late when you understand how sleep works. Early in the morning for sure, but it's a not a great thing to do actually for your body. When you understand how your rhythm of the sleep works for you, for your night and day patterns, it's a game changer, literally a game changer of how you can bring back energy and focus into your day when you've had a good night's sleep. Like, I don't know about you, but if I've woken up in the morning, like, and, you know, I've had a crappy night's sleep, I've worried about stuff, I haven't done enough, or whatever it may be, I'm not a morning person. Like the whole saying of, I'm just not a morning person. Like, I feel miserable for the rest of the day. Like, I feel a bit...
That's a real thing too, I think. You know,
I think
people
it's
say I'm not a
children.
morning person. Some use it as an excuse because they feel tired in the morning, but
Yeah.
some people are not naturally not early morning people. They're not, you know, they don't wake up when the sun comes up, and they don't want to be up at that time.
I don't really believe that. I don't believe I'm not a morning person. That's a limiting belief, hands down, because every human on this planet has a 24-hour rhythm. Not 26 or someone down the road's got 28. Like everybody
Okay.
has a 24-hour rhythm. So the whole I'm a night owl. I'll
I'm just
work
really
till
bad at
12.
maths.
Yeah, I'm just really
26
bad
and a
at
half
that.
hours a day, you said.
God, where am I going wrong?
I know.
Everybody has 24 hours in the day, and there's a certain cycle where it helps with your stress, and it helps with your alertness, and it helps with you recovering. So melatonin, which is your sleep hormone that you naturally have in your body, they all get released at certain times, like naturally, so that you can actually do what you need to do throughout the day. And then as the day starts progressing towards the evening, this is where you can actually start going, I can put my feet up, or I can rest now, I can recover from the day, and then getting to bed too early, about 9:30, 10:30 in the evening, and getting that deep rested sleep throughout the
What?
night. And then you go
I need a
and
sound effect that says, say what?
say what? Or WTF.
Yeah. Shim said,
Yeah.
what?
So this is what I mean. Some people think, nah, I've always been like this. That's the most common phrase, common sentence I always hear. But I've never been like that anyway. It's not you were
I
born
have.
a night owl or you were born not being a morning person. These are habits that people pick up as time goes on, from our parents, from our friends, from uni, from college, whatever it may be.
All
We
the
get
partying at
heavily
university, and it just
like
never
in
stops.
university, totally. I'll put my hands up with that.
There you go,
Partying till
guilty.
7 o'clock in the morning in my early 20s, like amazing times. But you cannot continue like that. And a lot of us in our business continue like we party, but we're not partying. We're stressing. We're answering
Boo.
emails. We're doing marketing campaigns. We're worried about money. We're worried about
Yeah.
when our next paycheck's going. We're doing all these stressful things, which is causing us to not be able to be energetic, causing us to be no focus whatsoever, and it starts to affect everything else. It starts to affect your relationships with other people because you're just not there. You're like, no, I've got to make sure that I do this with my business because that's the most important things. It cannot go under. And unfortunately, many businesses have gone under right now because literally
Yeah, pressure and stress can make people feel like they can't switch off or stop.
can't
They can't
switch off and
pause.
stop. When your body's screaming at you for like, oh, can you just please go to bed now so I can get on with recovering and making sure that you get the rest. And
Or
you
like we were
can't.
talking about last week with Richard Turner, is that
Yeah,
most
exactly.
people get sick. Who was it we were talking about? Neela Prabhu, when she was on a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, and she raised that exact point that most people get ill within the first 2 days of going on holiday,
Yeah.
because that's the time when they first actually start to relax, and their body then, like, the adrenaline comes down and all the other chemicals and stuff that she was talking about. Don't
Yeah.
ask me what they were. All the other stuff that your body needs to recover actually kicks in, and your low immune system actually is sort of exposed to danger, as it were.
Yeah.
You get sick
Yeah.
when you actually start to relax.
Yeah. So imagine you were in the jungle, Rich, and you saw
Thanks.
you saw a big huge lion about to pounce on you and eat you alive, right?
I've got a
Now,
sound effect for that.
or a roar. Moments before that, you're going into the part of the nervous system which is fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah, the adrenaline that kicks in.
It goes up, right? In those
Yeah.
moments. Now, that same sort of stress response we go through in our business on a day-to-day basis. Oh my God, I've just had a really shitty email. We go through that fight, flight, or freeze. And then we go and COVID-19 hit, fight, flight, or freeze. And maybe it's gone on for weeks and weeks, fight, flight, or freeze. This is wearing people's energy levels out. This is wearing people's immune systems
Especially at the
out.
moment, right?
Absolutely.
Fight or flight
So-
now is a case of, well, is it ever going to end?
Exactly. And the trouble is that a lot of these things that we tend to stress about is out of our control. We can't control any of these things. What we can control is ourselves and how we manage ourselves on a day-to-day basis. That, if we want to rest, recover, this is the other side of the nervous system. This is where sleep comes in.
It's like at the moment when people are pivoting their business or closing their business.
Yeah.
Some people are saying, okay, it's crap, but they find another way of changing what they can do to make money.
Yeah.
Or other people just go and give up.
Yeah, they're like, oh, what's the point anyway? I can't do this. And it's all very, I can't, or is it I won't? And that's two different things as well. So,
and I don't mean that lightly as well. I don't mean that in a sort of, what's the word? I don't mean to underestimate people's giving up response. I don't mean it in a horrible way.
Yeah.
Some businesses don't have a choice other than to shut. But not everyone can or did do that. Hang on, Zenat's busy here tonight. She's a keyboard warrior tonight.
What's she saying?
Get Richard on your sleep program. Yeah. No, don't. I like the peace of an evening. The nighttime is wonderfully peaceful, and it's a great time to concentrate. And she said, is in between siestas good or bad for us? Ooh, that's a good question.
You mean naps, right?
I assume she means the time between siestas. Is that good or bad for us to do business? Maybe, I don't know.
Is between siestas good or bad for us? So I think what she means is having naps in between.
How many bloody siestas a day is she having?
You
just meant to have one, right?
So generally, if you're going to have a nap, have it between 1 and 3, because if you have it any later after that, that kind of messes up the pattern of where the sleep hormone starts to increase and your cortisol level starts to decrease. So between 3 and 4, we get that typical afternoon slump, and that's natural because of how your rhythm goes, right? It's very, very natural. So we try and pick ourselves up by drinking a lot of coffee, stimulants, or whatever it may be, right? So naps are good if you need them, and 20 to 30 minutes is more than enough. But this really depends on how your night's sleep went, to be honest. Like if you've been awake 2-3 o'clock in the morning for a long time, then you're almost going to be forced to go, okay, I'm going to need to have a nap. And generally those naps aren't 30 minutes, they are 2 hours, 3 hour nap, because
it becomes a proper snooze.
goes into a proper snooze. I used to be like that, particularly in the early days. So it's really, really
and look
important.
how young she looks as well. It works, right?
Yeah, baby's good. So yeah, like with sleep, it's really important that as long as you make an effort to correct it, get to bed on time, to actually get up on time, you don't generally need to have naps, because you understand like you're getting the rest throughout the night. And it's another question if you're waking up in the middle of the night. That's a whole different story as to if somebody's going to bed. So we're talking about quality versus quantity of sleep. So they're both just as important, but a lot of people think that, I've had 8 hours sleep. So I'm like, okay, in the 8 hours of sleep that you've had, have you woken up at any time? Oh yeah, 2-3 times, just for a wee though. And that's not normal. A lot of people think it's
that means you're getting really old.
Yeah. Bladder control, but
stop drinking a gallon of milk before you go to bed.
But it's not normal to keep waking up in the night just for a wee. It really ain't. You're meant to be completely deep rested throughout the night as much as possible. Some people can thrive off 6 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, but generally it's a 7-8 hour mark is usually ideal for most people. So all depends on your lifestyle though. So
well, they reckon the Prime Minister used to get 4 hours sleep a night, didn't they?
Yeah.
Maggie Thatcher used to survive on 4 hours sleep apparently.
Yeah. It's crazy amount of sleep with the amount of pressure that they've had on their jobs as well. So.
Well, yeah, it's unbelievable that she even made it into sort of OAP age.
Yeah.
That she didn't croak it sooner than she did. With so little sleep that she was getting. Yeah, I think that hopefully answers it for Zainab.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, if you try and take a power nap at 5 p.m. for 20 minutes, you'll suddenly wake up. It'll be 11 o'clock at night, and you wonder where the afternoon went.
Yeah, I was feeling it today, Rich, because it was so warm today, and I'm like,
perfect napping temperature, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, do I have a nap after
Oh, I
lunch?
could doze off right about now. It's nice and warm and lovely and.
Exactly, but I didn't end up. I was like, no, I actually feel like just jamming on the guitar, or just I had a couple of messages from some friends. I was
Hit
just
yourself
like,
on the head with the guitar, wake yourself up.
yeah, literally wake myself up and give myself a black eye.
It's a good job
so
she didn't, isn't it? Otherwise, well, this would be quite a dull show, me chatting away about sleep.
I wouldn't be able to
Putting everyone,
focus.
yeah, I'll be putting everyone to sleep. That's what normally happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you can't sleep, just tune into this show every week. You'll be asleep in no time. It's the only show that starts out with 20 people watching and ends up with none.
No. So it's better than
Yeah.
counting sheep.
They'll face down in their keyboards by the end of the show. But yeah, so did we cover 3 energy zapping
So we
things?
just covered sleep. So the other one is really
Okay.
about how you manage your time. So it's about time management. It's about tracking your time, and I think I'm going to be talking a lot about this in my webinar tomorrow. Is where the biggest mistake I see a lot of business owners make is that they don't track and measure. And we're so good at tracking and measuring if we've got enough money in our account and outgoings and ingoings, but you've got to apply the same attitude to your health as well. It's like if you're not tracking where your time is going personally and on a business professional level, then you're going to be wasting a lot of it because you don't know where it's going. So it's really, really important that to not make the mistake of going, well, okay, I think I've got about an hour today for exercise. All right, and you've got about 10 minutes, which is still good enough, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that you've got to make a list of important things of priority that you need to get done in your day, and then things for yourself, so wellness, and then anything else like distractions. Like you can factor all of these things on a simple, there's loads of time tracking tools out there. You can use any of those. A lot of them are free anyway.
Permanent
And
marker in your window.
Permanent marker on your
Just
window.
draw on a gloss.
Or a simple whiteboard with a dry marker.
Yeah, that works
any
too.
of those things. Any of those things. And I'm not saying do it forever. I'm just saying you've got to start putting in the habit of tracking things, and then sooner or later it's like on default you'll know
Do
what
it
you need.
enough. Do it
Do it
enough
enough.
until a habit forms.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you've got to start. That's the thing. You've got to
Yeah,
start.
Didn't someone
So-
say to me once that only got to do something 4 times for it to become a habit, but you've got to consciously not do it 21 times to break that habit.
21 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone told me once that you only got to do something 4 times for it to become a habit. But to get out of it, you've consciously got to force yourself not to do it 21 times.
21 times.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know where that
Like-
came from. Just someone said it to me once.
I've heard lots of things about how long it takes to break into a new habit, get rid of the old one. Like some people say it's 21 days, some people say no, it's actually 60 days or 48 days. There are lots of numbers that are thrown out there when it comes to
Yeah.
about
I
time
guess it
management.
depends on the habit, right? If it's gambling, smoking,
Depends.
drinking, or
Exactly, it
living
depends
like Charlie Sheen, you know?
But the thing is, like, some people can go absolutely cold turkey and go, no, never doing it again, and that is down to the person's mindset. But for most people, if you've been in a habit for years, don't expect it to just miraculously sort itself out in like 2 days.
Miraculously.
Yeah, miraculously sort out in 2 days. If you haven't even tried, you know.
Zenat's got a dash. She says, it's been
Thanks
fun.
for joining.
Thanks. Lovely to have you with us, Zenat. Obviously, Zenat's subscribed to our channel, so she doesn't miss any shows.
Awesome.
Nice to have her along. And
Yeah.
have a wonderful evening. But yeah, so, habits, it does take a while to form depending on what the habit is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Some
So
habits are
time.
going to be much harder. What sort of tools could someone use? You say that a pen and a board. Is it really as simple as that?
It can be really simple as that. There's certain time tracking, productivity ones where if you're spending a lot of time on certain projects, for example,
Applications that all the cool kids are using.
yeah, like color code them. So blue could be for business and green could be for you. Like I used to use this a lot just to make sure that I managed my time a little bit better, and by the end of the day I could see where most of my time was spent. There's simple things like you can, if you really want to, you can put it on a spreadsheet. Some people like doing
Oh,
that.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you
Richard
can.
Sumner would love to hear that. The spreadsheet guy. Did you? I don't know
Yeah.
if you caught his show. He's a spreadsheet nerd. You put,
Spreadsheet nerd. Love
oh
it.
yeah, he's a that's his hobby, I think. Spreadsheets.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, some people I like to fly planes and fly airliners and whatnot. He
Yeah.
likes Microsoft Excel. So happy days.
Brilliant. So there's different ways. It just all depends on the person, really. It just really depends on them. And you can put timers on your phone, and I like that when an alarm goes off and it reminds me of something that I need to do for myself, and it just rings, and I'm like, yeah, thank you for the reminder, brilliant, and I go and do
Like
it.
the old
So
Apple Watch when it tells you every 60 minutes, get up, you fatty, move around.
yes, in your words, yeah. So
Yeah.
so it just every person out there learns in a different way. So they're gonna pick up things in a different way and utilize it in a different way. So yeah, it's whatever works. But time management is super important. And
I guess it depends what the carrot is as well, as they say.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, if you're going to manage your time, what are you going to get out of it?
exactly. And why do you want to manage your time better? It's a bit like saying that. Why do you want more energy then?
Yeah, indeed.
Like for the sake of having more energy, or
yeah, you've got to start out with the why, right?
100%. A lot of people jump on the what and the how, and I'm like, well, why? Why do you want?
Yeah.
Why do you want more?
Because there's no why,
do
then
you-
just stay in bed and enjoy yourself. Watch TV.
Yeah, exactly. I just find that boring if you're going to stay in bed all day. So,
No, it's
and
fun.
I think for me, like the third biggest mistake is procrastination, and a lot of people procrastinate and delay things and delay tactics and all. Limiting beliefs get stuck in, and then you end up going into this vicious cycle, and that's another big mistake. And that usually starts to occur when we don't put one foot forward in front of the other. When it comes to energy and focus, like it drains us when we're constantly thinking about a project or putting out a piece of content on LinkedIn, and you're like, it's been a week and I still haven't done it. Or it's been
Like a
2
really
weeks.
good show, you mean?
Yeah, like I still haven't done it, and what is stopping me here? Why am I procrastinating? Why I'm not reaching out to people, and so on. Or there's this DVD that's gathering dust on my in my cabinet, which I should have used for my workout DVD, and I haven't used it. Why am I not using it?
Oh yeah, everyone's got those workout videos that they've never
Everyone's
watched, right?
got those workout DVDs, and the list goes
Just like
on.
the dumbbells under the desk that they just hold the door open now.
Just do that at the desk.
Yeah, that's it.
But the thing is, when we procrastinate, we end up spending a lot of time, energy, and money on things that I'll do that. I'll let me chuck a load of money at this and I'll do it. And when people talk to me about supplements, especially with sleep, it's like, what do you think about this supplement? Will that help me with sleep? I'm like, save your money. Understand how your body clock actually works, because that is your own body clock. You can't go wrong. It's so powerful.
Don't need supplements. You've got a big ball of fire in the sky, I tell you, when they go
It's
to bed.
blaring down at my face right now. Like,
Yeah.
so
Making you look even younger.
And I'm like, no, dude, save your money and understand how your body clock works. It's not that hard to sort of get to grips with it. Then you realise that you don't need to chuck your money at different supplements all over the place.
Or
Like, a
programs
lot
or
of people
plans
just-
and stuff like that.
Yeah, the biggest mistake is that people just think, well, I can't sleep, so this pill will fix this problem. Or I'm overweight and I don't feel comfortable, this pill will fix this problem. Or I don't have the focus, this pill's going to fix a problem.
Pills for everything.
And the quicker we leave that kind of behaviour at the doorstep, the better you're going to move forward with your health. And the better you see a better balance with your business as well.
Yeah.
Because you are the driver at the end of the day. So it just
Well, Neela was
makes-
saying the same thing when she was on talking about homeopathy.
Yeah,
You know, it's a complementary therapy. It's not the therapy. It's in
Just
in
complements,
addition
yeah.
to.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I think she almost accidentally taught me the meaning of the word holistic. I used to think it was just a fairy tale sort of word, when in fact it's just, don't just look at that problem, look at everything around it that might be
That's
causing
it.
it.
That's it. Exactly.
So if you watch this, Neela, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Every day's an education. Yeah. But yeah, so where are we? And those are your energy zapping mistakes: your procrastination, your sleep, and forgetting stuff.
So sleep, how you're spending your time, and obviously procrastination are some of the biggest mistakes.
Time
that I
management,
see.
procrastination, and not sleeping.
Yeah.
Which just leads you to worry about all three and then waste even more time worrying about them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So once we do that then, I mean, all of this is great, but why on earth is it important to look after our gut health?
So the digestive
Because sleep's
system.
not just about sleep, right?
It's not. I mean, everything in your body is integrated to one another. So it's not that one is more important than the other, but the digestive system is one of those systems in the body that when it functions really, really well, it is independent, right? It completely doesn't really need to rely on the brain because it has its own second brain. You probably have heard that there is a second brain within your digestive system, and 70 to 75% of
I'm
your
glad you
immune
said digestive system on the end of that.
70 to 75% of your immune system is in and around the digestive system. So you'd be mad not to look after it, because if your immune system is out of balance, that's going to disrupt your sleep, that's going to disrupt your energy, you're going to disrupt your flow, your focus.
Make you sick as well.
Makes you sick. Absolutely, 100%.
Spend a lot of time being unwell.
2018 is when I found out I had a bacterial infection in my digestive system, which for 4 years that I didn't know I had, and I was.
It wasn't a very good one then.
Wasn't a very good one.
It wasn't very good at being bacteria.
No.
You're just practicing, you know.
Yeah, but it was one of those quiet ones. It was one of those quiet ones.
When you get good at it, we'll come back and get you.
Yeah, exactly. And it just slowly creeped up on me, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" Like, you know, I was eating more sugary stuff because this particular infection loved glucose. It loved sugar.
Oh.
But I was just like, but I want it. I don't know why I want it, but I'm going
Drinking
to eat.
tons of Lucozade, but you don't know why.
Well, you know, like chocolate, biscuits, cakes, and all of this sort of stuff. And
Well, she said the magic word. Now I'm off. Gonna go find me some cakes and biscuits.
all right, nice to see you, everyone. See you
Yes,
later. But you know, my weight crept on, and I wasn't feeling like myself, and this affected everything from sleep to digestion to my immune system. And had I not sorted it out then, I kid you not, I wouldn't be doing this show right now. I'd be.
Well, you'd be doing it from a
absolutely.
hospital bed, probably, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
God knows.
We would
I
be
don't
doing the
know.
show, but you just wouldn't be able to walk to the camera.
No, exactly. I'll be like glued to the webcam.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, she'd be like,
all
"Hi,
of
I'm
these.
Shim."
Oh God, no! That's an awful impression of me.
No, I know that's an impression. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so you know, all of gut health is super, super important because when it becomes dysfunctional, it starts to affect other systems in the body. So it's really, really important that we do eat good quality foods, that we do have good quality carbs, fats, and proteins in our diet, and that we hydrate well so that your bowel movements are efficient and you get to get rid of toxins that we are exposed to on a daily basis. It is that cycle that just needs to happen.
Yeah,
But
good fat like
unfortunately,
avocados, not McDonald's.
yeah, there was a queue today in McDonald's. I couldn't believe it. Not that I was going there, I was
You
going
didn't go run in
somewhere
there and
else.
tell them all off, did you? Stop eating this
No,
crap.
I didn't have the time. I didn't want. I said no. I'm not going to do that. Got to save my time. So,
Happy days.
so happy days. So it's really important we've got health, because of the immune system side of it, and you've got a whole network of gut bacteria in there, a different range. That's why we've got to have a
It's like a
diet.
business networking meeting all of its own, isn't it?
Pretty much the good, the bad, the ugly, all of them. Are
Gang
all
it up
in
on
there.
you.
Yeah. And you know, your gut bacteria does, to a point, dictate how you feel on a day-to-day basis. Like if you're feeling that low energy, if you're feeling that, oh, I just, you know, I'm procrastinating, or I feel lazy, or I don't feel like I'm good enough, or I feel slightly depressed today, think how your gut bacteria is doing. Because if
They've been
you've got
up all night raving and taking drugs and drinking.
100%, that's exactly
Might as
what
well.
they're doing. They're having a party at your expense, basically.
Yeah.
They've made a nice little home for themselves in that digestive system of yours. So it's really, really important that you do keep a range of good foods and water and all those sort of things on a day-to-day basis for most of the week. I'm not saying never ever party. I'm not saying never ever drink alcohol or eat indulgent foods. All I'm saying is you just got to have a balance. You just got to have a balance of it.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Only 6 days out of 7, right?
only 6 days out of
Take a day
7.
off.
So I live by an 80-20 rule, Rich, where 80% of my week is generally good, that I'm moving. I do a couple of exercise sessions a week. I do a bit of breathing, meditation, 5 minutes a day, bit of yoga, bit of music, eat well, sleep well. And then, 20% of it is like, oh, I really fancy this today, or I
Bit of a
really fancy
blowout.
that today. No, not necessarily, but I think it's just all about in moderation. It really is, and you just function better, and you can see that in your business at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. Happy days. Yeah, well, you want to make sure that you stick around long enough to actually enjoy the fruits of your labour. You know,
Yeah,
you spend all
100%.
this time doing all this lovely hard work for people, and it's nice to actually make sure that 10 years from now you're still here to see it still thriving.
That's exactly my point. Exactly my point.
So swiftly moving on, because I'm aware that we've sort of 55 minutes in, and I don't, some people, like you say, have got to go to sleep.
Yeah,
Big ball of fire in the sky is getting lower and lower.
I know.
So yeah, tune into our show about sleep at 11 p.m. tonight.
No, 2 o'clock.
I know, right? So this is a bit of a controversial question. You
Yeah.
are what you eat, which is why I look like a Jaffa cake.
What do you think it is?
Well, if you eat crap, you're going to feel crap and produce crap, right?
But do you believe that you are what you eat?
No, not completely.
Okay. What about the
I don't
viewers
eat
that
a
are
very
watching?
my diet's not very how should we say? My diet is not very. It's something that a doctor might frown upon a bit. I'd get told off if I was completely honest with my GP, or you for that matter. And yeah, so it's something that my wife is constantly trying to sneak some green stuff into what I'm eating.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a Jaffa cake wrapped in lettuce? It's not very nice.
No. And I can't get that image out of my head now. So.
Sometimes you can't sneak them in; you just have to wrap them up.
Oh God.
You can't hide the green stuff in the biscuits.
A concoction. Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't. It's not 100% garbage.
Mm.
I do eat sort of. I'd say my diet's probably 50-50.
Yeah.
I do like a bit of chocolate and sweet stuff.
Yeah.
I do. She's the chef in this house, and she cooks some wonderful stuff.
Oh, amazing.
And I'm sure there's some green and healthy stuff in there somewhere. Just I can't see it. It's covered in
Tiny.
tomato. Yeah, it's covered in ketchup and mayonnaise normally.
I know what you've done. You have a plate full of goodness, and then your dog comes along. You're like, here, have some of this.
Well, this is
That's
it.
what
Yeah,
it is,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yum, that was nice. Do you want any more? No, I'm good.
And that's why their farts smell so much.
Yeah, and the dog's out in the garden, letting them go.
But in all honesty, I used to believe this a lot, going way back when into the health and fitness industry. But coming along with my own health issues and going more into the digestive system, you are not what you eat. Because a lot of people think that, well, if I have a plate of carbs, I'll be awesome. I'll have all the energy in the world for my run later.
You'll be asleep.
Yeah, unfortunately, your body just doesn't function that way. You are not what you eat. You are what you consume, digest, and excrete. That's two different things. So if you and I ate the same plate of food, how your body uses it up is going to be completely different to how my body uses it up.
Yeah, I follow you now. I was going to say, if we're consuming the same plate of food, there's going to be a fight. Give me that. No, it's mine. No, it's mine.
No. You got your own plate though, so it's fine.
I know. Oh, okay, fair enough.
So do you see my point now? That
to a certain extent, yeah. Because I mean, when I used to cycle, I would never, carb load the day before. I never did that. I always used, and being a fan of the Tour de France, I'm sure you've heard it as well.
Yeah.
Shoving down plates of pasta and God knows what the night before, and then having a big heavy sleep and probably having to spend 2 hours on the toilet before they get on the bike.
Yeah.
I never used to do that. I used to get up and have protein for breakfast. Plenty of eggs and toast and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then just stick to like chicken salad sandwiches throughout the day on a long ride. just to get some energy, and that would keep me going. I never felt hungry at all.
Yeah.
So I would never carb load before a book. So I never believed in any of the sort of Tour de France sport stuff of shoveling down 10,000 calories before you nod off for 12 hours sleep before a ride.
Yeah, unless you train like an athlete, then obviously your diet's going to be different. But most people don't. It's just
exactly.
Most people don't, so they don't need to carbo load or they don't need to do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just really important to know how your
for the average Joe,
Yeah, exactly. In order to just function on a day-to-day basis a lot better. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you are an athlete and you are competing at sort of athletics level, then I think you are what you eat is going to be a lot more truer.
Yeah.
If you're an Olympic springboard diver,
Yeah.
you don't want to be shoving down the gummy bears and Jaffa cakes because you'll go from a diver to being a belly flopper.
Thing is, when we have all sorts of different types of sugars that your digestive system's trying to digest, and then you go and do strenuous exercise or any form of exercise, it's going to find it hard. You're causing it more stress. Therefore, you get the stitch, or therefore you get the uncomfortable pain, or
the cramps when you haven't got enough magnesium, as Neither told us.
All sorts of
I've
things.
had that before.
All sorts of things. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's really, really important that people do take the time out right now to really listen and understand and make those small changes. It doesn't have to be massive changes. Just those small micro changes as time goes on just looking after yourself a lot better, because not only will you benefit, but your business will benefit, the customers in your business benefit, the people around you benefit, like your friends and family. So
well, no one wants to phone up a business and have someone answer the phone and go, yeah, what?
Exactly.
Because the person on the other end of the phone just feels like crap.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
so it's just super important.
I religiously, when I answer the phone, I always say, greet someone as positively as you can and tell them what your name is, so that they know that you're happy to talk to them and they know who they're talking to.
Yeah.
So many people I've called and they just pick up the phone and go, hello. Have I called the right number? Yeah. All right, and if you don't want to talk, that's fine. You're having a bad day. Click.
Yeah.
Just the way people answer the phone, it affects everything you do.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I'd say you are what you eat if you're competing in the Olympics. For the rest of us, not so much. I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. I'm glad you agree with me on something. I found that one person in the whole world, folks, who actually agrees with anything I have to say ever.
I think I've covered this. So really.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty much we've rolled over that in all of the other parts, haven't we? So to wrap things up nicely, then, as we've been bimbling on for God knows how long.
An hour.
If we could give someone some tips and advice to take to bed.
Yeah.
And mull over as they go to sleep. What sort of advice could we wrap things up with? If we could give someone, say, 5 points.
So let's. I want to give a couple of points for a bit around sleep. So first and foremost, rather than using your digital phones for alarms in the morning, if you need to wake up to an alarm to get you out of bed, use an old-fashioned clock. Put your phones away somewhere in the room or out of the room, just to sort of that dependentness that you have towards digital devices to get you out of bed. Use an old-fashioned clock with the most annoying sound whatsoever, which means that you're forced to get out of bed and stop that sound, and then you actually get a better routine into actually getting up at the right time. So that's number one.
Where are they meant to get the time machine from to go back and buy one of these things?
H.G. Wells, he wrote a book on that.
Does anyone have an old-fashioned alarm clock at all these days? Do they still exist?
Look, Argos do it. Just buy one of those for like a £5. Job done. So
happy days.
And then really getting into a good routine of just switching off an hour before you go to bed. So if you're going to bed at 12, switch off from digital devices about 11. And then slowly you get yourself back into a good routine by 9:30, 9:15. Just switch off from digital devices and have that hour to yourself before bed. So maybe.
And what would they do in that hour? Do you mean do you mean no TV or just
like
no phones and
no
computers?
digital devices. Literally, if you get to that point where you're like, I actually don't need to watch TV right now. I could do with a warm soak in the bath, which helps You really just calm your nervous system down and gets you ready for the day to go to bed. Or you can do a bit of reading, which is something that I like doing, and just sort of take that time out to read and
So nothing with a screen on it, really.
nothing with a screen on it. Think about it. We weren't born with screens in our faces. Like, this is something in the digital era that we've kind of been accustomed to, and it makes our life a lot easier. Yes, but there's a dark side to it as well, where it takes over and everything is so convenient, and we don't have to end up lifting a finger, which something that I generally don't enjoy doing. I like to go and do stuff for myself because I get to move my body.
You don't want to fill your brain with things to think about as you're trying to doze off, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that comes nicely onto moving. So with gut health, it's super important that don't go hard out on exercise just because you feel like you haven't done it. What I'm saying is that go and do daily walks, for example, 10, 20 minutes, just because that helps with your a lymphatic system, which is all part of your immune system.
A what system?
Lymphatic. Lymphatic. So that's a system in the body which is all about getting rid of toxins and all the waste that we accumulate on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, our sewer system.
Yeah, literally, but it doesn't have its own pump. And the only way you can pump a lot of this stuff out is moving. You have to move.
Gotcha, yeah.
Okay? So daily movement is, in my eyes, if you're not used to exercise, is way more important for your health than forcing yourself to do an hour's session and then feel absolutely crap for the next week and you're hurting all over. That's not a good sign.
Because then you'll never move again.
Yeah, exactly. You're like crippling and you can't walk up and down the stairs.
I won't do that again, ever.
So moving is really, really important. And I think I've touched upon, the ability to say no when it comes to time management.
Yeah.
And something that is really helpful for me and helps a few of my other colleagues is having power hours where if you're working on a particular project or for me, the other day I was working on a webinar. For me, I just didn't need distractions for 60 minutes. I was literally like, I don't want any distractions for 60 minutes. So switch off the phone, switch off the Wi-Fi, no TV in the background, whatever. And I literally have a timer on my phone, 60 minutes, and I have a power hour where I just concentrate and focus on that one thing. And believe you me, you get so much more done in that power hour. I literally call it the power hour because it's like literally focus. And before I know it...
60 minutes of turn off everything that can possibly disturb you.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, the distractions, you don't need those distractions. So
it's nice if you're in a position where you can do that. So if you can, So ironically, Yogesh,
way past my bedtime.
What a lightweight, way past his bedtime. 7:56.
Thanks, Yogesh. Good to see you. Thank you for joining.
He's saving his energy for more networking, I think.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
He's like a Duracell bunny of networking, that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's our 5, isn't it, right there?
That is our 5. There you go. So
happy days.
There you go. Yeah, all those tips and tips and stuff.
So if people want to know more about this stuff, or they want to sort of get on board and get you to help them out, how on earth can they reach you?
They can, if you just find me on LinkedIn and send me a message and be a human and say hello, and that you've watched the live stream with obviously Rich, so I know where you found me, where you come from, and take it from there. Because for me, it's all about connecting with people, not just people messaging me and going, "Hey, like my product," or "Here's my product to sell." So for me, it's really important that if you genuinely found this useful and you wanted to get in touch and just connect, then just reach out and just go, "Hey, hello, I saw you on the podcast and the live stream."
It's quite easy too, because funny enough, if you type in Shim into LinkedIn, she's the only person who comes up with that as her first name.
Yeah.
So you can't really get it wrong.
Can't really get it wrong. That's very true.
And so that's been absolutely fantastic, and hopefully you'll be able to read more about this when Shim sends over her blog post.
Yes.
And we'll put it up on the show website at wesh.biz, where you can read more about it, and we'll put a link to a LinkedIn profile, and hopefully if she's got Twitter or any of those other face nonsense profile pages. But don't forget, folks, if you've enjoyed today's show and you've learned something from it as well, subscribe to our channel. It doesn't cost you anything. Give a thumbs up to the show. Have a watch on the blog. Read the blog, even. And this will eventually end up as a podcast as well, so you'll be able to download it from iFlumes and all those other famous places.
Yeah.
You'll be able to listen to it when you go out for your bit of exercise that she's told you to go and get. And how ironic would that be, listening to the show twice? So she told me to go and get some exercise, so I'm going to listen to her her podcast while we do it. But yeah, give the show a thumbs up, and believe it or not, there is an award coming at the end of this year.
Oh.
It's currently being manufactured. There is a Business Heroes of 2020 award being made.
Brilliant.
And whichever show guest makes the most of their show appearance, be it via sharing, show likes, thumbs up, subscriptions, whatever, whichever guest has the most, gets the most value out of their show, if you like, will win the award.
Oh, amazing.
So it won't just be a case of whoever gets the most views on YouTube. It will be a case of whoever makes the most out of their opportunity and their experience.
Awesome. Good incentive.
It's an incentive to take what we've started today and run with it. I'd really, really appreciate every guest taking the show as the starting point, not the finale. The show is the starting point, and you run with it, and then you use that as a launch pad and go from there. And then obviously you follow it up with an awesome blog post that we can put up on the website for people to read, and you can share the crap out of it for years to come. And really, really give people a reason to actually establish yourself as an expert in your field. Give people a reason to pick up the phone and call you.
It's been a fantastic opportunity. I've just really enjoyed it. It's been fun.
I'd have guests like you all day long. It's fun.
It is a lot of fun.
She's got a wonderful sense of humour. It's very easy to get along with, and I've only sort of started talking to her a few weeks ago, albeit briefly.
Likewise.
And when you start talking to someone, and it turned out that me and her are from similar neighbourhoods in years gone by, and grew up in a very similar place.
Yeah,
and,
small world.
When you sort of like, oh, this is going to be a wicked bromance. In that sort of respect, she's a wonderful person to talk to. She's a lot of fun, and I'm sure that anyone who decides to get in touch and work with her is going to find it not just educational and informative, but beneficial and a lot of fun. Because let's face it, if you can't work with customers and enjoy what you're doing and have fun with it, then what the hell are you doing it for?
Yeah, exactly.
So by all means, look her up on LinkedIn, badger the crap out of her, and she's got I'm told she's got a webinar tomorrow, right?
I do, yeah.
Go on, spill the beans.
It's the same topic as today, but I'm literally diving a lot deeper into energy and focus, and sharing some more stuff around that. There's so much more where a lot of the stuff that I've spoken about, I'm just going a lot more deeper into it, and how you as a business owner can have more energy, more focus, and literally it's not having to exercise. You don't necessarily have to kill yourself over exercise to get these things. There are other ways that you can do it, and probably the ones that you're not even doing or even looking at. So
awesome. You could have planned this out, where you could have done everything you're going to do tomorrow. You could have done it in this show, stayed in bed tomorrow and hit the play button on this show. Right, what's that, guys?
You're right. But I don't enjoy staying in bed for too long. It's too boring.
That'd be efficient then, you see. You can get on with something else and find more energy.
I love what I do, so I would do all this stuff all day long.
You can see she's really keen on what she's on what she does.
Yeah.
And with her background in, is it sports therapy?
Sports therapy, yeah.
Yeah. She's got qualifications coming out of every ear roll. On all that sort of stuff. So you couldn't ask to speak to a nice or qualified person about this sort of stuff.
Thank you, Rich.
So go and look her up, badger her, make the most of her knowledge, and enjoy it and have fun with it.
Thank you very much, and thanks for everyone joining, and thanks for your questions.
It's been wonderful having you, and I shall wish everyone a wonderful evening and a great weekend to come. And hopefully you'll come back on the show at some point in the future and tell us how it's all going.
Definitely, I will do.
Because the gut intuition started, was it last year you started it?
It started in December 2018, and it's literally gone from strength to strength.
It's about 18 months sort of cracking on now.
It's just really, awesome. I'm really enjoying it. It's good fun. It's a lot of fun.
Days. So, it'd be lovely to have you back on the show at some point in the future, and you can tell us all how things are going.
Looking forward to coming back, Rich, definitely.
She's the only person who said that and actually meant it.
Genuinely, from love, from my heart, I definitely would love to come back.
Yeah, I might have some decent sound effects by then. I've worked out how this thing works.
I want. What the hell?
Yeah. I'm gonna get you to record one for me.
Say what?
Shim, say what?
Shim, say what? Brilliant.
I should get every guest to record a special sound effect for me.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, it's been
Alrighty.
wonderful having you on. Thank you so much for giving up your evening to enlighten us all
You're
and
very
share with
welcome.
us your knowledge. And have a wonderful weekend. I shall fade us out, hopefully. If I press the right buttons in the right order this week, it will work properly. So have a wonderful evening, everyone. And we'll see you all
later.
soon. Bye, Shim.
Bye, Rich. See you later.
If I press that button there, and then get rid of that button there, press this button here and say, good night, everybody. Have a wonderful week.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.